I'm often asked whether you need a greenhouse to join in with the Floral Project, so I thought I'd record you this quick video to show you what I have and how that journey has progressed. So when I started out, I didn't have a greenhouse. I grew my seeds indoors, and then I started to move them outside into sheltered spots, but quickly I realised that they were going to need some cover. That was in the heart of winter. At this time of year, as I'm recording this, it's July, and we're growing our biennials, which we will grow as little seedlings. We can keep them outside, and then we're going to plant them out into the garden in September. And as long as you can keep most of the rain, most of the wind, most of the sun off them while they're still tiny, they should be fine. You just need a sheltered spot somewhere in your garden where they're still going to get light, but they're pretty shaded. What I did quite quickly is I realised I wanted somewhere for my seedlings to be able to go outside. They're getting very leggy inside. I was constantly having to think about where they were when they were outside, and so I bought one of these. Now this normally has a green plastic like this, green plastic cover over it when you buy it. They're like 30 quid, something like that. You can get them on Amazon, or I bought this one in my local garden centre, and it's got 4 shelves. You get so many seedlings on this thing, and normally you would have it up against a wall with its green cover on, all zipped up nice and warm. Open it up during the day to let some air in. It takes up so little space. Put bricks in the bottom of it so it doesn't blow over. Attach it to the wall in any way, shape or form you can. Tiny amount of space, but oh my goodness, you'll be glad you did. Right, really worthwhile investment, and I'll put a link to that on Amazon so you can have a look underneath this post. Currently in my garden, it's acting as a deer preventer. So this is my gate where I go in and out of the other bit of my garden. But very soon, as my greenhouse fills up, this will start being used. Quite quickly I progressed, because I started growing more seedlings. I got hooked and I bought one of these. So this is, and I'll show you the inside of it again. This was about £50 when I bought it. It has, I think, 24 shelves in it, and these things are prone to blowing over. So I just want to let you know that I've had a couple of Floral Project members who've lost everything because it has blown over. Mine hasn't yet. That's mainly, I think, because it was here up against this shed, so it was very well protected, but it just wasn't getting enough sun, so I've moved it here. I have staked it down with every camping hook that we've got. I'm going to be putting bricks inside it against the covering to try and make sure it's really well weighted down, but I have heard a couple of horror stories, so I just want to warn you about that in advance. Okay, don't say I didn't tell you, but pin that thing down, right? But it's my best gardening investment yet, I'll tell you. So I put some cardboard on the floor because it's straight on the grass here, and just to give you an idea of my little haven in here. So it's where all my seedlings live until they get big enough for me to pop them outside. So what happens is I sow my seeds into their seed trays on my windowsill in my kitchen, mainly because I just love watching the little first shoots come up. As soon as the shoots come up, the plants get moved out here so they don't become leggy. So lovely and warm in here. It gives them such good protection over the winter as well. I'm going to try and do my whole garden just out of this one greenhouse and the little one I showed you. But the other thing I then bought was this polytunnel. You can't really see it very well from here, but it's 2 meters wide by 3 meters long. So I will be putting 3 meters of raised bed right down the middle of it, and that's where I'll be growing anemones and ranunculus and chrysanthemums over the colder months, over the winter. That's where those guys will get started off. You don't need a tunnel. It's not really a tunnel, it's more like a glorified greenhouse. But you basically plant straight into the ground, straight into your raised bed, straight into the ground in one of those that has no shelves. I kind of thought, well, what's the point of that when I first started? But then I realised things like ranunculus and anemones, I didn't want to grow them in pots like in my greenhouse, but I wanted to be able to grow them straight into the ground, and they will grow there their whole lives. So it lets me get a really early start on the season. So again, this is about £50, and yeah, I've bought that. So the one thing that I do want to say, if you've got a greenhouse, is you need to open it up every single day. Okay, so the plants need carbon dioxide. They need to be able to breathe, And if there's no air circulating, what you'll get, especially if it's warm and damp, you'll get damping off, which means your seedlings just fall over at the stem and collapse. If that's what's happened to any of yours, that's what it is. It's just too damp, too warm, not enough air circulating. And your plants need air to circulate around them to be able to breathe and to grow. So they need light, they need air, they need warmth. But you do need to open this thing first thing every morning. Open it up. If you forget and it's a hot summer's day, by the time you remember, everything will be dead and you'll have to start again. So please, please, please remember that. When you go on holiday, you'll need to have someone, you'll either need to have someone come and open it and close it, or if you know it's going to be really warm, you can just leave the door open overnight. There's no danger of frost at the moment. They just won't be quite as well protected. So in answer to your, do you need a greenhouse? There are ways around it. We can manage without one. But why would you, when for 30 quid you can have a greenhouse? Again, I know it doesn't look like a greenhouse at the moment, but imagine it with a green cover over the front of it. Hope that's helpful to you.